Hey there, Tarnished, and welcome to another episode of Elden Dogs. And I'm scared shitless, actually. I really don't want to do this episode. I am fucking not excited.
We are going to my least favorite place on the face of the planet. We're going to Gary, Indiana today.
North Milwaukee.
I hate this place so much, I stopped playing the game for a while.
Controversial. I loved it. I would go camping there. I would thrive there. Don't pet the sheep. So don't pet them sheep. Those sheep are fucking crazy. They're like the sheep in The Boys.
Oh, God, yeah. No, that would be better than where we're at.
My name is Sir Ansbach, and I'm not afraid of anything, and I'm terrified.
I am Lady Freya, and I don't like this place. I've said it multiple times on multiple different episodes. I hate the Abyssal Woods.
Before we get there, though, no need to get too scared yet. I'm drinking a beer from Founders Brewing called Winterbach. It's a lager, 6%, and it's good. You know, it's that time of the year.
I'm drinking an armchair quarterback by Three Sheeps.
Just having a nip.
Just a little nip. Kind of nursing it.
Yeah, so the Abyssal Woods. Before we get there, though, how do we get there? You know, it's a classic conundrum. This is very easy to miss.
Yes, it's an area set up at the end of a dungeon, which I thought was incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
My excitement was turned to pure terror when Torrent's like, I'm fucking out of here.
We ain't there yet. Torrent's still happy.
Yeah, he is for a minute.
Torrent's happy. First, we're in the Shadow Keep. Before we go in to the Specimen Storehouse, there is a ladder by the Tibia Mariner boats and all those Shadow Militiamen. There's a ladder that goes down from the Tibia boat, and it leads to a sketchy hallway. This is where you find the Domain of Dragons painting we mentioned in the last episode. And as is tradition, there's a coffin. So we crawl inside and just go off a waterfall.
The pilgrims used to ride these bad boys for miles.
What's that from?
SpongeBob. It's not just a boulder.
The pilgrims.
And then they ride the boulder.
The lore of SpongeBob is actually good. I mean, it's not even lore, the science. Sponges do ride boulders.
Yeah, it's pretty canonical.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sandy wears a helmet because she can't breathe because she's a squirrel. But what is she doing down there?
Now that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And also, how did Mr. Krabs father a whale?
Also, we were watching the penultimate episode of The Penguin, and there's a character that is having a moment, and I forget the actor's name. It's a guard from Shawshank Redemption. He is in everything now. And I looked over, and it was a big moment, like, that's the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
I forget. He's been in a couple of video games, too.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's a treasure. But we fucking write a coffin down because that's what we do. And this is the only way to access everything from this point forward for this episode. There's no other way to get to any of this stuff without taking that coffin down, finding the hidden ladder through a hidden stairway. That's the only way to get down here. And when you come out, you're at the ruins of Unta.
I think that's how you say it. Unta.
Unti.
Unti.
You're going to notice there's a lot of furnace golems down here that are all broken up. There's like the corpses of them everywhere. So have yourself a little ride. You can pick up a lot of the furnace visages, which you need to make the hefty pots. Unfortunately, there's still some living ones.
You're going to wake a few of them up.
Well, you're gonna wake one up immediately, and he's a son of a bitch. But there's also another one that you might be wondering, how do I get into the ruins? Because there's no way in around there. There's a giant furnace golem blocking the front.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to do some cool parkour to get up and around them, but it's a weird part where it looks like you should be able to climb them, but the game just does not let you.
Yeah, I'm sure a speedrunner probably figured out a way to climb it, but I couldn't. And this was one of the rare instances where I went to Google, and this is the one I didn't know about throwing pots into furnace golems.
Yeah, because you
have to wake it up.
Yeah, you have to preheat the oven.
Yeah. So if If you're an idiot, you activate both at once. Don't do that because you're in for a bad time. But you'll get an oil-soaked tear from one of them. The oil-soaked tear is the resulting concoction temporarily causing the imbiber to break out in an oily sweat, soaking nearby enemies in oil. Fucking gross. Oil-soaked enemies are highly susceptible to fire damage. I'm not going to drink something that makes me break out into an oily sweat.
I drink Monster Energy drinks.
Oh, it's just Monster.
Yeah, it's just a Monster Energy drink.
The Monster Energy tear.
Yeah, it never really wakes you up. It just increases your heart rate, and you're still tired, and now you sweat.
Why does everyone do it then?
I don't know.
You do it. Why do you keep doing it?
Creatures of habit.
Try Magic Mind. We're healthy people. You can also get the blood-sucking cracked tear. Duration 3 minutes, increases damage by 20%. But it drains 0.2% of your max HP per second plus 20 HP per second on top of that. So a lot.
That just seems like a dumb stat. Like
if you're going in for quick damage and you intend to not last long, this is the thing. Inside, you can also, or on the outside, you find the giant golden arc, which is a spiral incantation. Sorcery of the Inquisitors of the Tower, wielded as an incantation of the spiral. A swing of the arm releases a giant golden arc. Charging enhances potency. The arc resembles the barb, a known symbol of coercive questioning. We're going to see more barbs here in a little bit, and more Inquisitors as well. But the Inquisitors are, they're out here safeguarding where we're heading towards because they don't want anyone else going in and nothing getting out. And they are also, those barbs are being used to... They were used to silence somebody a long time ago. But you'll get this. It's I like all of the arc incantations generally, but inside of the Ruins of Unta, you get the Stone Sheath Sword. It's one of the altars. So there's 3 of these in the game. You can go in any order. The first one, you're going to find the Stone Sheath Sword, and then the other ones is where you can alternate between the Sword of Darkness and the Sword of Light. The Sword of Darkness is the first time you transform it. And it gets you the unique skill Darkness, where you raise the sword aloft and cleave surroundings with darkness, deals holy damage, and temporarily reduces holy damage negation.
I need to go back and get this because I didn't know how to move him.
Yeah.
So I just kept going. Mm-hmm. I just thought he was dead. I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice. He's just taking a seat.
Throw a pot at it.
In front of this place that it looks like I should be able to get in.
Yeah. Worth it.
I've read that the Stone Sheath Sword is pretty good, too.
Yeah.
I've read that, especially for my build that has a lot of holy damage. I have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
It could be good for my build, so now I definitely have to go back.
Go back and get it.
So we're going to hit the Recluse's River. You can find a dry leaf seal.
For one, if there's a river called Recluse's River, that's where I'm going camping.
Yeah, because it's what you want. Just you and nature.
If it was my pet is afraid to walk here river, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, or I wouldn't camp here river. Like, someone made a bad choice.
Or someone's like, no one's going to camp here, then it's going to be perfect. It's the weatherman who fakes bad weather the day before he goes golfing so no one else is at the golf course.
Dude, they have that power?
Dude, it's meteorology, man. It's speculation.
Yeah, but if he purposely, he's like, it's going to be tornadoes, you need to stay inside, and then he goes to the Disney World, that's shit.
I'm just hearing the Democrats control the weather. That's what someone at work told me. Then they asked me how to spell the word couch, so you tell me.
And while we're on the subject, what is a tariff?
How do you spell couch? What? You joking? This was a 3rd grade joke in Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to make a dumb joke, but instead we're going to find a dry leaf seal, sacred seal of the spiritual seekers known as the dry leafed sect. Enhances incantations which conjure golden rings of light. Those who saw the decline of the Erd tree in the fallen leaves long ago braced themselves for the weakening of the order and embraced a strict faith. And then they made him serve a new god.
That'll happen.
Yeah. It boosts golden rings of light incantation by 15% when equipped, as well as discus, triple rings, Radagon's rings, and multi-layered rings.
And onion rings.
And the red ring of death on your Xbox 360
Enhances it.
enhances it.
It actually will kill your PlayStation next to it.
Yeah, it'll blow up your boob tube.
Yep.
You can find
56% of 360 consoles suffered from that.
I got it.
Was that 56?
It was a lot.
The Jakey video just said. I was thinking about it the other day.
I love every time Jakey puts out a new video.
Should happen more often. Yeah.
Quality over quantity with that man, though.
Amen.
Dane's. You can find Dane's set minus hat.
The hat is not easy to find.
No, so you
That's
can get
that's a
set.
boutique item. You go to a hat store,
Yeah, you got to get fitted.
which
for that.
do exist. Not a lot of people go to hat stores anymore, but I guess they still exist.
I've recently been made aware of them because I've seen some people come into work with some really dope hats, and I'm like, "Where did you get that hat?" And they're like, "I went to a boutique. Like I got fitted. Like it fits my head." And I'm like, "How do you get time for that, man?"
You have money to waste.
Yeah, just like how long does it take to make a hat?
Yeah.
I had so many questions,
You could buy so many highlights for that.
dude, and I have hats.
Last night at Vanguard, I had a specific. I went in. I'm like, I'm gonna get this and this, and I wanted to get a dark beer. And I was like ordering the Mud Puppy Porter Nitro, and the bartender came up and he looks at me and goes, "High Life." I was like, "Well, yeah, I guess." You son of a bitch, I'm in. Talk me into it. Anytime a bartender suggests a drink to me, I'm like, yeah.
I feel slightly attacked.
I don't want to discourage that kind of behavior. I like it when a bartender assumes they know what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dane's set, sun-faded and lightly soiled travel attire worn by clergymen. The gold necklace found under the breast belongs to a group of spiritual seekers known as the Dryleaf Sect. This sect rejects dependence on others and all matters of faith, seeking self-discipline and self-sufficiency above all else.
I'm there for that.
Strong, independent woman ain't need no man.
I don't need no man.
need it.
I don't need your God. I don't need your opinions. I'm working on myself today. And I soiled my armor, but...
Yeah, I'm going camping in this this fantasy land called the Abyssal Woods. It's going to be great.
It's also weird that we get Dane's set here because it's not... I guess it's part of the sect, so this wouldn't actually probably be Dane's down here because Dane isn't naked when we fight him later. But
Yeah.
this is how you get Dane's set, which is interesting.
You can also find Moldmonger's bell bearing.
Who's out here monging mold, you know?
Dude, I don't pretend to understand what people in the Lands Between do unless they're eating dragon hearts and fucking shit up.
Just apparently a huge business, though, for cookbooks.
That some of them aren't even really cookbooks. They're like, here's a cookbook. This is how you make an arrow.
I do want to make a Martha Stewart cookbook and just replace Martha's head with Egon. And it says, "Curse you, Bale," at the top.
Fuck you, Bale.
Fuck you, Bale.
Cookbook.
And harpoons. And other delicacies. Harpoons and other delicacies.
Every other page is just fuck you, Bale.
Yep. There's even coloring book pages where it's just pictures of Bale getting crucified. Yeah. Connect the dots.
Moldmonger's bell bearing purchase. You can purchase fly mold to craft pots of fetid fly, poison, and rot.
Love that.
Big pothead, love that.
Well, and it might help when you go to the Village of Flies, which sounds like a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
This is a village that doesn't have a bar. There's not even a church. There is no general store. They don't even have a McDonald's.
I was going to say somehow they do have a McDonald's.
Somehow they have a McDonald's.
It's notorious for having E. coli, though.
There is not a Raising Cane's for 200 miles from this fucking
no.
village.
Raising Cane's stays away.
If you bear right when you're going down the river, you wind up here in the Village of Flies. And it's just, it's lousy with man-flies. What'd you expect? It's fucking the man-fly village.
The Dollar General didn't tip you off when you came into the village. Like, that's usually a beacon for shitty.
Don't want to be there.
No, I haven't been to a Dollar General in 20 years.
And it ain't a buck.
No, nothing is.
It ain't a buck. But you can find man-fly ashes here. Used to summon the spirits of 3 man-flies. 2 of the man-flies attack foes from the air, while the third spits poison from the rear. Not his rear, from the back.
He's backing you up.
He ain't shooting poison from his butt.
No diarrhea spray here.
Otherwise, I would have used it. Afflicted Hornsent eventually metamorphosed into a fly-like form. It was believed that the moment the transforming took place, they were relieved from their suffering. Well, I hope so. You're about to be shooting poison out your butt.
Continuing on, you'll find the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum.
This is our last one.
Is it really?
So this is the fourth.
Rakshasha.
Rakshasa.
Rakshasha.
Rakshasa.
You can find Rakshasha set. Rakshasha.
Rakshasa.
Rakshasha.
Yeah, Rakshasa.
You can find
Hey,
Rakshasha.
that's my niece Rakshasa. Get your hands out of her.
You can find her set. Armor of Rakshasha.
Rakshasa.
Soaked in the spurting blood of her victims.
Oh my god.
Tatters of ragged cloth jut out haphazardly as her lust for carnage threatens to break free.
Whoa.
Bam.
She mad.
Increases damage dealt to foes and greatly increases damage taken by the wearer, which is not ideal, but sometimes you got to trade.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to give to get.
Yeah.
And I do this all the time, and then I wonder why I die.
Yeah. Rakshasa.
Boosts all damage by 2%. Those are rookie numbers. We got to get those up.
The fucking rookie numbers big time.
But increases damage taken by the player by 2%. This is reflected in the armor's stats.
I mean, it's not bad. As far as like it's a buff for an armor buff, which they're not as common. And it's just like a risk reward if you want to deal more but take more.
See, and I think I usually take this trade because I like to see the health bar go down faster. It motivates me.
Yeah, and I don't get hit ever.
I get hit all the time. Cut down and devour. Only those who repeat the cycle without rest can truly subvert the self and become Rakshasa.
She sounds like she's up her own ass a little bit.
It does a little bit. She sounds a little pompous.
If you work out every day and drink 30 High Lifes, you can become Brad.
You think you want to get a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys?
You ain't Brad.
No, she is definitely up her own ass. But what's not up her own ass is Rakshasha's great katana.
The third and final great katana.
Yes, we are big great katana fans.
Yes, we are.
A great katana with the tempering pattern of its blade forever stained red with blood. Weapon of Rakshasha.
Rakshasa.
Rakshasha. Rikisha. Weapon of Rakshasha who cuts down and devours. A berserker's weapon used to endure enemy attacks and reply with one's fell fury. When attacking, the wielder is less likely to stagger from counterattacks, but would also take increased damage. Again, if I give me a great katana that's going to do more damage if I get hit, you're not really getting hit that often with a great katana. It's got really good timing.
It's got a good stagger. Yeah.
The unique skill is Weed Cutter. Performs scythe-like horizontal swings with the sword, cutting men down as if they were weeds. Additional inputs allow for the continuation of the attack for as long as your little thumbs can keep up or your stamina.
A lot of weed cutters actually have to work naked, so they make sure people aren't stealing the weed when they leave.
You know what? That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen videos.
Have you?
Have I?
Yeah.
You don't know. I could have just
What
made
kind
that
of
up.
videos have you seen? Naked women smoking weed?
The videos that I watch are banned in like 8 states.
About to be all 50.
All 50.
What's a tariff? We have now one of the most fun, deep, the greatest height differential probably of any dungeon we do.
Which makes the end of the dungeon that much more surprising.
I would rank this in probably my top 5 of little dungeons, caves, whatever. Probably in all of Elden Ring. It's so fun. It's so long. There's a lot of fun surprises, and you go from a starting point so low through through the catacombs, and they're very long. The Darklight catacombs.
It's fucking huge, and I started to get fatigued running through it because every time you die, you have to backtrack through sections that you've already done.
Love it.
But that's the charm of this game. You learn where the enemies are, you get better, you get further, and then it's like you're just constantly chasing.
It doesn't feel cheap because it's always fun. Whereas I played Control recently, and I'm fighting a bunch of enemies, and I didn't even realize that I could fall off the map, and I fall off the map, and it just doesn't spawn me outside of the fucking arena. It spawns me like a 5-minute walk away. And I was like, for real?
Yeah.
You ain't Elden Ring. You don't get this privilege.
We don't get run-ups.
Yeah. In the catacombs, we're going to find an enemy that is probably from a lore standpoint, the most elusive and confusing in all of the DLC. There's almost no text written about them at all. And it's one of those enemies that are never explicitly named. Some, are named. The imps are this. The militiamen are that. There wasn't a name for this. And in the files, it was referred to as Putrescence Sorcerer. So that's what they were called for a while. And since I got the strategy guide just recently, it's labeled Catacombs Conjurer. So it's a conjurer in the catacombs. And it looks like an old homeless dude with 3 teeth. And they have the corpse of a dead baby strapped to their chest. So, Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah, that's weird.
This is Death Stranding 200 years in the future when Sam's dead, and he's just down there now.
That's depressing. I don't want to think about that.
Yes, a baby appears to be attached to their body, not considered undead, a dark sorcerer associated with those who live in death. They're fuckers. They're real sons of bitches. You don't see a ton of them, but this enemy, I think, is just a design that was very convincing, and they didn't really want to spend too much time explaining what was going on, which you don't need to for everything. Sometimes a hill is just a hill.
And I think you actually it might be the dead baby is just like a nod to Death Stranding.
I don't think so.
It could be.
Maybe
there's a fan.
We don't know. We also find Inquisitors here. Inquisitors are awesome. I love the concept. The Inquisitor hags, they're referred to as hags, they wield barbed candlesticks. Inquisitions often perplex the minds of the uninitiated, so seniority was viewed as an asset. The Inquisitors are doing the dark work for whoever they're employed by. In this case, they're working for the Hornsent. They're actually sent down here by the Hornsent to stop what was going on in Midra's manse. To stop Midra, but you find the Inquisitors elsewhere as well. Back in the lands between, they're often associated with like fire and the flame monks. But I dig their design, and they're not hard to beat, so I like mowing them down.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
Yeah, they're good cannon fodder. You can also find the Inquisitor large variant, which is just a fat Inquisitor.
Yeah,
they don't move as much.
Tough when you're carrying all that weight.
Yeah. There's a certain market for some people that are like attracted to that.
Yep.
Yeah. I prefer regular size Inquisitors. Inside the catacombs, as you're going down, you'll find the Death Knight set, which, yes, I want to pre-order that. Each piece enhances skills and incantations of the ancient dragon cult by 2%, totaling at 8%. Golden armor of the Death Knights, adorned with an antiquated depiction of the Erd Tree, enhances skills and incantations of the capital's ancient dragon cult. These knights, once Godwin's personal guards, quested to find their transfigured master cadaver's surrogate for the coming age of the Duskborn. And it looks fucking sick.
It does.
It looks very sick. You're going to be going down the catacombs, and you're going to come around the corner, and you know those cute little big mouth imps you've seen?
Yeah.
That just like the imp with the giant cannon for the mouth?
Yep.
You find a big one.
Massive.
A colossal. It's huge. It's fucking huge. And you see it, and I'm like, my man. Man, I'm here. We made it. Only Miyazaki can make me so happy to get killed. I'm like, this is the best. It's so stupid.
I saw it, and I hate these little fuckers too because the little ones attack way faster than they should.
Yeah,
and if you get a couple of them that get the jump on you, like they'll fuck your day up. So when I got here and I saw the colossal huge mouth imp, I was like, dude, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Big mouth Billy Imp.
Big mouth Billy Imp.
Yeah. Take me to the river. Instead of shooting cannons, this one just sings, "Take me to the river."
Yeah, it's a big talking head imp.
Yeah. These, the imps, the little guys specifically, it's very fun when you're invisible but not quiet, because you'll run in there and there's a moment where they like start looking around and they don't know where to shoot. And it's very fun watching the cannon mouth imps just get confused because They want to shoot at something, but they can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like these guys more than the pogo stick imps.
Fuck them.
The pogo stick imps, just there's nothing fun about them.
I don't want no part of that.
No.
It just throws me off. They're not even that difficult, but just seeing something like pogo stick at me, I'm just like, that's when I drop my keys trying to run away from Michael Myers.
Yeah, like, oh shit.
You're in my head, bro. The big mouth imp is here, and in this area you also get the spirit ash for the big mouth imp. The spirit of this old imp, said to be fashioned after a dragon, has a big mouth that serves as a cannon and allows it to fire shells from the rear of the battlefield. This summon seems to have some special property of knockback in its ranged attacks. Some bosses, any sort of Tree Sentinel, Tibia Mariner, Millennia,
Yeah.
note that one, possibly others that need testing, are pushed away from the explosion, sometimes fully interrupting their attacks.
That's insane.
Bring this fucker to Millennia and he will take care of you. It's interrupts your attack, staggers her, and if you can keep her aggro, he'll just keep like shooting her from a distance. It's a cool spear dash. You get the Viridian Amber Medallion +3 here as well if you want to raise your max stamina by 17%.
I'm currently wearing this.
It's not chump change.
No, that's a good boost.
That's what you want. And if you get all the way down here, at the very bottom, you take like 3 elevators all the way down. You get into the boss arena and you fight Jory, Elder Inquisitor. Not the coolest name for an Elder Inquisitor, but I'll give it a pass.
Yeah, I like the name Jory.
It seems a little too friendly.
It does a little bit. Like he's going to hug you.
Hi, I'm Tina, Elder Inquisitor. You couldn't have gone with like Satan Spawn or something.
Yeah, my name's Jerry.
Hi, I'm Jerry.
the Master Inquisitor.
Oh, yeah. This is it's closed. I'm going to have to kill you.
It's really unfortunate.
I'm going to be summoning a lot of fat Inquisitors, too. Sorry. I'm Jerry.
Did you have a hard time with Jerry?
In a fun way. I got killed probably like 5 or 6 times my first experience with Jerry. He's only Jerry now. Jerry is now Jerry Elder Inquisitor. But it was never I was frustrated or pissed off. It was this battle is fun and thank you for killing me.
Yeah, the whole dungeon, we kind of just hit the highlights. Not like we didn't spend a ton of time talking about how fucking big this dungeon is, but it's huge.
A lot of lights.
Yep.
Yep.
So when you finally get to the Jerry fight, there's this sense of accomplishment that I had where I was like, holy fuck, like I died a lot in this dungeon. And getting to the end was a big deal.
It's great when you feel like you went from A to B in a dungeon instead of A and you looped back to A, which is fine. I understand dungeon design in video games, but when you get that really solid A all the way to B and to a great boss battle into a cool area, that's why this one's ranked so high for me.
Yeah. I died a handful of times, but you're right. It is a fun battle. It's not like your normal everyday boss battle at the bottom.
Yeah, he's going to be summoning a lot of Inquisitors that are shooting a lot of those arcs at you, and the big, large Inquisitors, the Phantom versions, they do stagger a little more easily, which is nice. But just a cool boss fight, and you will receive the barbed staff spear from defeating Jerry. It says Jerry is the Elder Inquisitor, family of 3. Hopes to retire someday.
Drives a Camry.
Big fan of the Eagles. Great staff of Jory, the Elder Inquisitor. The tip bristles with golden barbs, symbolic of the Inquisition's torture, allowing one to wield the staff as a great spear. Attacks deal holy damage, and potency increases with faith. Strength, dex, and faith scaling, holy damage. The unique skill is Jory's Inquisition. Thrust the great staff into the air, firing off a succession of golden barb-like arcs. Holding the button down extends the barrage for a short duration, extends it out. Great for Ghost Flame dragons because it'll keep hitting them as it passes through the dragons. Really cool boss fight. Great little section. There's the last fun thing we're gonna have this. Well, it's for you.
For me,
this is all fun for me.
No, it's not fun for me.
This isn't horror. This is fun. This is happiness.
So you make it all the way down this dungeon. You fight Jerry, and then
hi. Oh, It's closed.
I was expecting.
Sorry, you can't come. It's closed, so you can't be in here.
It's a shame I'm gonna have to murder you now.
And I have to kill you for walking in. So stop.
Sorry. Once you beat Jerry, if you're anything like me, you immediately look around for any loot that might be there. There's oftentimes not a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom of these dungeons or at the end, but I'm looking for the little return to the beginning. You know, the little wisp,
turns out the loot is pure terror. That was the loot the whole time.
Yeah, because there's no what do you call the return to entrance? What is it? It's not a site of grace. Is it a grace?
No.
I always refer to it as like a wisp.
I'll go with the wisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for the wisp to get back to the top because you're like, I did it. Time to go.
Yeah.
No. Welcome to the new area.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the fucking Abyssal Woods.
And I called them abysmal for the longest time, and I still feel that way a little bit. The Abyssal Woods is, at first, a very cool concept that, for me personally, got a little bit draining. The Abyssal Woods are a thick forest sprawling at the depths of the ravine that is untouched even by sunlight.
Dude, even sunlight's like, no, dude, don't go. I'm not even going in, and I'm light.
Yeah,
I don't even have a say in this matter.
It is known as the sanctum of Sage Midra.
Midra.
Got it. Nailed it. Yeah.
In summertime, he's Sage Midriff. He wears a little more revealing clothing.
You gotta stay cool.
Gotta stay cool. He has the abs for it though.
Yeah, he's got a 4-pack.
He hasn't eaten in a long time.
The region is forbidden by the Hornsent.
I'm gonna have to kill you now.
So I hop on Torrent and I start riding down the woodland trail, and Torrent says, "Fuck that."
I'm horrified by this.
Torrent leaves you.
Torrent has never done this.
No.
Torrent is always there. Your stalwart homie. I'm gonna ride up a stupid fucking spear outside of a dead dragon.
He's like,
Torrent's
let's go.
like, let's go, dude.
You want to ride around on me while you kill all of these things that are trying to kill me and you? Let's go.
For perspective, the reason Torrent does this is because the power of the Frenzied Flame can burn away even spirits. Torrent can't die. This could kill Torrent. And if my cute little baby pony doesn't want to go somewhere, I'm not going to make him.
No.
I'm going to go myself. And I've hiked some sketchy places before, so I'm fine.
I was gobsmacked that Torrent left.
Yeah.
And then you're left to walk down the woodland trail by yourself where NPC invader, the maddening hand.
Matting.
Yep. Hand shows up. He's just going to punch you a whole bunch.
When you put a hand over your hand and that's your weapon.
That's scary.
That's some Leatherface shit.
Yeah, that man is punching you with a hand that's not his hand.
And he's not waving at you with it.
No, not even the courtesy to be like, hey, you got past Jerry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My name's Ted.
Need a hand? Oh, I'm just kidding.
We are close. No, but the Matting Hand, he's gone a little crazy. This is not the Inquisitor who's still got some sanity. This is someone who's fully succumbed to the Frenzied Flame madness.
He kind of whooped my ass a little bit. Like this area starts off tough and does not get easier.
You know what my only problem is with these hand weapons is there's not like a jackass unique skill, which is just the hand gets giant and you slap someone with it.
Oh, yeah, like when they come through the hallway and get hit.
Here, carry this tray of soup. And then Jerry slaps you. I would love that.
I thought it was weird. They made me carry 8 bowls of soup. The matting hand is a glove stitched together from the flayed skin of the victims of the butcherous bloodbath. Afflicts targets with madness, raises attack power when madness is triggered in the vicinity. It's a real son of a bitch. Forged of an unyielding black impulse towards revenge fostered in those who were hunted down as heretics by their own brethren. These are the weapons of the utterly downtrodden.
So Midra was originally a sage that people liked. He was just a guy. He was like, oh, it's old Bill Nye out there. He's doing some science and research out there. Once he started getting into studying the Frenzied Flame, the Inquisitors said, no, we are shutting you down. This rite is closed. And so the Matting Hand is unfortunately one of those heretics that was Put down by Jerry.
If you can beat the Madding Hand, he's kind of tough. He gave me a little bit of trouble. The Madding Spear Hand Strike makes hand into the shape of a spear before unleashing a plunging stab that penetrates the body of the enemy, afflicts foes with a large dose of madness.
This is some like Jackie Chan shit.
Yeah, it's
or
like
Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber when he reaches into your heart and he pulls it out.
Yeah.
To make your hand straight and to stick your like straight out fingers through someone, that's only something you have to be mad to do that.
And it's going to inflict 305 madness buildup, that's big boy numbers.
Those are big boy numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've already started off with a bang. You fought a heretic, and you think, well, possibly it can't get any worse than that. But it does. Before we move on a little bit, you can pick up the Winter Lantern Fly.
It's one of the crafting materials around here. I just wanted to make a note of it because it was pretty cool.
A winged insect carrying a dangling Frenzied Flame grape.
I wish there were insects that actually carried real grapes. Could you imagine? I would want to catch all those insects, or it's like the High Life fly.
Oh my god, it'd be a butterfly,
and it'd only be like a grape's worth of High Life, but you could catch it, pop it in your mouth.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
But instead, these are just Frenzied Flame grapes, which is just eyeballs.
Gross. Material used for crafting items flies lazily around the Abyssal Forest, said to be the heralds of the aging untouchable. On seeing these, the wise know to stay well clear of that place. If only I would have listened. You can use this for crafting Frenzied Flame pots.
So one of the stunning things about the Abyssal Woods is the extreme emptiness. It's huge. It's a big area, big. And not a lot of enemies. Not a lot. There's going to be some rats that are afflicted with the flame, and there's some like sheep walking around, but mostly, apart from a few, a handful of enemies, it's open and you're walking everywhere. So you're really feeling the atmosphere of the surroundings. You're feeling out of place and in the open when you're walking in the open woods and everything's got red eyes.
Yeah, you're in for a bad time. Aesthetically, it's stunning. It's unlike anything that you've seen in the base game or the DLC up to this point. So at first I was really like enthralled, like this is cool. Removing Torrent is a new gameplay aspect that I was not prepared for.
Love it.
And being forced to walk is like kind of nice for a change of pace because you can take in the scenery because you're not really fighting a whole bunch. And it is a very cool looking area.
Yeah. It becomes a vibe.
Definitely.
It becomes a real effective tool for making me feel something where a big area, scary woods, and not a ton happening. I get time to realize that this scares me. I get time to understand that I don't know what's going on and I'm not running around like an idiot. I am slowly becoming more and more afraid. It's to me, one of the things that Shadow of the Erdtree does is give you space where nothing happens, which you're kind of just riding the exploration then. It's about exploring, not about combat, not about anything else, and this is terrifying.
Yeah, there's a sense of dread that they create very, very successfully here by removing Torrent, so you don't have that escape rope that you would normally jump on and ride away. So knowing that you don't have Torrent, you're going to be set up for something that's going to be very scary, and the emptiness of it and the vastness of it, especially once you start getting into the fog and not having a map, it's very easy to get turned around, and the space is large and largely looks the same. So when you get turned around, you are truly lost.
It's so easy to get lost.
I had no idea where the fuck I was going.
And the map isn't going to help you either too much. You kind of know where you're aiming, but you kind of get slowly corralled certain directions. And it's the same reason why people get lost out in the woods. That you think you're heading one way, but eventually you slowly drift a different direction.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden 3 rats are chasing you and there's one sheep looking at you with red eyes. And you're like, I don't know if you're my friend.
We must have crossed over into Illinois.
Black Phillip. Yeah.
You'll find the abandoned church is probably the first landmark you're going to happen across. Why is there a Church of America down here? That's weird.
It is weird because the Hornsent did close this place off back in the day, and it is curious that the Church of America did find its way down here, but they did push into all of the areas. So
I believe there is a site of grace at the abandoned church, if I'm remembering correctly, which is nice to have because you haven't had one yet since coming out of the dungeons that brought you here.
Yeah.
You can find a Frenzied Flame perfume bottle in the abandoned church, but still, the area is very empty, and there's not a whole lot going on here.
Not a whole lot.
But at least you get a location so you have some semblance of where you're going.
And you're not going to run into an enemy that you can't kill with any sort of damage, are you?
No, not at all. Like, there's not going to be anything that is going to be especially hard, difficult, or frustrating.
So we run into an enemy that is particularly hard, difficult, and frustrating. It's called the Aging Untouchable.
And
it's also that, like, when your grandparents are so old, they can be fully sexist, racist, horrible monsters in a nursing home, but they're aging and untouchable.
yeah,
They can say what they want at that point.
the first time you see one of these things is terrifying because it's just kind of like you've been fighting rats up to this point and the occasional sheep.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw it, he was like walking through near these bushes. So it gives you, if at this point you've probably played hundreds of hours of Elden Ring, and you probably haven't used a whole bunch of stealth, but you know that you can. And you can sneak by this first one, but he is so menacing because I just had the feeling that I shouldn't fight him. I was like, I am not touching this. So I snuck around him.
Well, they see you and they make like that scream.
God, it's
and
terrifying.
they just fucking charge you, or they appear next to you.
So then when it appears next to you, what is your go-to? I'm going to hit him with my sword. No, you ain't.
No, you ain't. These guys are particularly fucked. To kill them, the first one you run into will actually drop a unique item, a talisman. Must be parried. You must wait for them to attack you and parry them away at just the right moment. And the thing is, you generally aren't going to kill them off of one parry. You have to do it twice, which is fucked.
And this is what, episode 52 of Elden Dogs?
Yeah.
So I would reckon to say at least 48 times I have said parrying does not exist.
And it doesn't.
It is impossible. I have tried to do it, and it's just something I couldn't learn. It took me forever to fucking dodge correctly.
Turns out that you can.
Well, they heard me.
I actually did it with this. The Spelldrake Talisman and Barrier of Gold can offset the damage they do, while the Clarifying Horn Charm and Clarifying Boluses can mitigate their madness buildup. You can survive a few attacks from them and run away. It's fucked. Getting away from them if they see you is not easy, and you're going to die a lot just trying to get away from them if you're not trying to kill them, which you shouldn't.
Well, Brad, let me ask you this. So you can't hurt them physically until you parry them. But surely their attacks aren't going to kill you almost immediately, right? So if you miss that parry, you got more chances?
You can survive 2, maybe 3.
Yeah. And they teleport, right? So you can lose track of them?
To get away from them is so tough. You have to just sprint and somehow survive. And even then, if you get past, there's another one waiting where you're going, probably.
It's like fucking fighting Vecna. Like, he's just everywhere all at once. He's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's unclear if this is intended, but the destined death-related debuffs applied by the unique skills on Malekith's Black Blade and the Black Knife, as well as the Black Blade incantations, are able to be applied to aging untouchables prior to being parried. It's possible to defeat them solely with these effects without parrying, however, requires upwards of 30 casts per aging untouchables with no in-game way of tracking their health, but it's possible. I'll just parry. It's easier. Often inside the bushes, tall yellow plants can be found. These plants make loud noises when touched and expose your position and attract them. So,
didn't know that until like the 9th or 80th time I died.
Yeah. Very sensitive to sounds. You can shoot an arrow where you want them to go.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Guide them away. If you use a combination of Unseen Form, a sorcery, and Assassin's Approach, the incantation will silence you and make you invisible. Run right by them. That's the safest way to get through this madhouse.
I didn't have Unseen Form, So I relied a lot on cotton in my boots.
Yep.
I made a lot of cotton, and that will carry you quite a bit.
You will, if you defeat this first one, get the Aged One's Exaltation Talisman. A talisman depicting the exaltation of the aging untouchable, whose head resembles a sprig of ripe grapes, raises attack power when madness is triggered in the vicinity. Gift your madness to our Lord. Bless our brethren with grapes. Take care that they fully ripen. This will increase your attack power by 20% for 30 seconds when madness is triggered near the player, and it may be stacked with the Black Dumpling Hat and Matting Hand for a total of 41.9% plus attack power.
Damn.
Those are numbers.
Those are big boy numbers,
Those are
yes.
numbers. And then also, when you're exploring these woods, you can get the Mad Craftsman's Cookbooks, a record of crafting techniques left by a craftsman who served Midra, master of the manse, and Nanaya, his lady. His eyes were burned by the flame of frenzy. This allows you to create the roped Frenzied Flame pot and the hefty Frenzied Flame pot. Let's talk about Midra and Nanaya.
Yes.
Now, the strategy guide just received recently. From the guide, it says, Midra was once an ordinary man. He became involved with the Frenzied Flame, drawing the ire of the Hornsent Inquisitors. Fearful of his potential to ascend to a Lord of Frenzied Flame, the Inquisitors broke into his manse, slaughtered his servants, and skewered him upon an occult instrument. In agonizing pain, Midra endured this pain at his wife's behest long after she died. He's a scientist who he opened up the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got punished for it.
He got punished. We don't know. There's a lot of holes to fill in the story. We do know long ago he got involved with the Frenzied Flame. We don't know if he was actively seeking it or he got a taste and was drawn in and kind of became corrupted. But he was weak and failed. The Frenzied Flame inside of him is being currently suppressed by the Great Sword of Damnation. We saw this in the trailer. Everyone got a major hard-on.
Yeah.
Yep. The dude with just like the sword going through and the barb sticking out. This was put in by the Inquisitors to stop him from transforming into the Lord of Frenzied Flame. And it's still working. This torture, this punishment is what is preventing him from changing. This region has been locked off by the Hornsent Inquisitors. We know that Nanaya is his lovely wife, the lady of the manse. And everybody's got a lot of thoughts. Everyone's got, who's Nanaya? Is this actually, what the fuck is his name? Is this Shabriri? Is Nanaya Shabriri? Is Nanaya and Midra possibly Marika's parents? No, I say no. But there's interesting things, and because maybe Midra is Mesmer's father. I do kind of like that idea because Mesmer's got some dark flame inside of him. But all we know is Nanaya is the lady of the manse, and Midra lived on in his agony with this fucking... remember Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
When the guy falls through at the very end to the village and the spear, like the top of the tower goes through his mouth. And he's like, does anyone have any ice cream? That's how Midra is, you know? He's got a fucking great sword of damnation through him, barbed out, and his wife just tells him one word, and that's endure. And so he lives on with his suffering to prevent the chaos of the Frenzied Flame from coming. Horrible. The only way to prevent the possible destruction of the world is for eternal suffering.
Yeah, that's a tale as old as time.
Yeah. America for 4 more years. So that's what we know about Midra and Nanaya and the Abyssal Woods at large. It used to not be so dark. It used to not be shut out from sunlight. This, though, brings us to Midra's manse after we get through the Abyssal Woods. And out front, you just see a bunch of headless corpses just like on their knees in front of this place. Sign me up, bro. Woo!
It's already scary. You made it scarier.
Dude, I am in on that shit. I can't tell you how much I love horror and I love weird things. And if there's a scary mansion in a forbidden woods with a bunch of corpses lined up, you have my attention. You walk in the front door and you hear Midra say, "Leave now, come no closer, I say, the madness wells." And I'm fucking like Shaq with his shoulders dancing. I'm like,
oh yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah, what are we doing here? There's a spirit and it says, "I welcome you, O uninvited guest, but must I warn as you venture in, heed the words of our great master Midra. Approach not the madness, lest ye succumb." So we do know Midra doesn't want to succumb. Despite the madness being inside of him, he does not want to be the Lord of Frenzied Flame. A painting depicts the manse as once being surrounded with a lush and green environment, flowers from the shaman village. It used to be nice down here. Could be possibly Mesmer's dad. We don't know.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down with that.
You go through the painting, and there is a horned warrior motherfucker. He's mean. He's aggressive. This whole place is pretty mean at first. But stunning. I love the design of this place. You know, bookshelves and like any old library and study that has fallen to disrepair is just really cool design.
Oh, yeah. Being in the home of essentially a mad scientist is pretty dope.
My boy, he just wanted to learn. You can find a torn diary page. It says, discarded page ripped from a diary bearing a passage written in a tremulous hand. "I touched him only once. When he thrust his staff in my face, I brushed it aside. It was then that I touched him, the aging untouchable." It sounds like you're writing smut.
It does sound very smutty.
A little bit.
A Court of Thorns.
He put his staff in my face, and I put my hand out. Like, whoa. This is, though, telegraphing how you can defeat the aging untouchables if you didn't read Vex Your Life beforehand.
Yeah.
Turns out Vex Your Life will just tell you, too, though.
Yeah, save you some time.
Shout out to Vex Your Life. We appreciate you.
You've done some heavy lifting for me.
You did most of it. You can find a Mad Craftsman cookbook if you want to make a Surging Frenzied Flame, which is a spirit gravestone burned by Frenzied Flame, a craftable item.
You're going to need an Instapot, though.
Yeah.
It's very, or maybe possibly a pressure cooker.
These aren't easy to make.
No, this is highbrow Iron Chef level.
Cooking for 10 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Spirits are eternal, and yet Frenzied Flame melts them away regardless. No wonder the Hornsent forbid the flame's use. This is why Torrent was afraid, and this is why we hate you, Midra.
Yeah.
My dog don't like you.
You scared my horse.
You can also find Nanaya's torch here. Unique torches, very great in Shadow of the Erd Tree. This is a torch made by attaching a dying flame of frenzy to a small spinal column.
So metal.
So good, right?
I love it.
Spinal column. It's only used when you're talking about metal music or you're in science class.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no in between.
In a distant land, in an age-long past, was born a man who failed to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame. All that remains of him is cradled gently by Nanaya. Theory. Some people theorize Nanaya is Shabriri, but I think that's stupid. Nanaya was just a good wife, and she told him to, like, keep going.
Endure. Survive.
Yeah, it's just Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He's doing Nanaya face. Under some tarps in one of the rooms, you can find some fingerprint stones. So it does look like he was researching possibly fingerprint stones from under Landell. The fact that those same models are there is cool. That's good storytelling. There is Inquisitors. There's a library. And at one point, every time, 3 times I fought Midra, went through the manse, and I have a pretty nice like surround sound system, and you're just walking through the manse, and at one point is the most like unreasonably loud wail of Midra, and every single time it gets me and Carly 2 rooms away. It's so good. It's the best scream. You can actually find Anaya's corpse, which is cool. You find her up there on a chair. She passed away a while ago. And I tell you what, if I'm in eternal agony and my wife's gone, I'm going to have less of a reason to live.
Yeah.
We do eventually, though, run into Midra, and he's a small little man.
Looks a little worse for wear.
So you hear Midra say, "Enough, I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Anaya." Before the battle properly starts, though, little guy with sword in his head comes running at you, and he doesn't even get a health bar. He's like such a weak little enemy. But he tries to do what he can to stop you before succumbing. And then after you beat him, he puts both hands on the sword. You don't get to see it get pulled out of the body, unfortunately, because that would be too cool. They cut away. And then all of a sudden, where his head should be is the flame of frenzy. The Lord of Frenzied Flame is here. That's what the title of the enemy is, Lord of Frenzied Flame. I didn't have any issues with this boss battle. It's not that tough.
I felt bad beating him.
You did.
Because he's just a tiny little guy.
He's a little, yeah. You don't pick on the littlest guy in the bar.
No, but beating the Lord of Frenzied Flame, quite an accomplishment. Also, Frenzied Flame has been something that I failed to understand for the majority of the game.
It's just chaos.
It's chaos, and I remember the first time that I died from it, something hit me from so far away that I didn't even understand what was happening.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It's just your madness starts building up, and it's like you're listening to the Haktua podcast, and you're just like, for some reason, just rage builds.
I understand. I sympathize.
I believe it's called Haktua, by the way.
Great.
Not the Haktua. No, but
you've made your point.
yeah, beating the Frenzied Flame is pretty cool, especially if this is the Lord of Frenzied Flame. You're beating the big shot.
Well, also, I'm there. I'm like, I literally am the Lord of Frenzied Flame. I already blew up the world once, dude, so fuck off.
Yeah, I can take you.
Yeah. This arena's great. Midra's Manse, this whole area is a major vibe. Big fan of all of it. Despite this battle not being difficult, I also didn't need it to be. The set piece, the storytelling, 10 out of 10. All the way around, I love this whole setup. Now, defeating him, you can get two different things from the Remembrance. You can get the Great Sword of Damnation, which is what was through his head. This scales with strength, dexterity, and faith. High physical and holy damage with the unique skill Golden Crux, where you leap up and skewer a foe from overhead. If successful, the barbs unfold to excruciate him from within. Elsewise, additional input releases barbs in the area. There is something of the Golden Order in the sight of those fixed upon this crux.
That is so badass.
It is. The most heavy metal thing in Catholicism is crucifixion.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you get into the science of it, because you think you're just like, oh, it hurts and you die. Like, no, there's a physiological change that happens in your body where it is excruciating.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, I read about it. And I listened to it in the History of Rome podcast.
I like that.
Yeah.
Or you can get Midra's Flame of Frenzy incantation, where you summon an apparition of the Lord's head to spew frenzied flame. The incantation can be used while in motion. The apparition will remain for as long as the input is held. The Lord of Frenzied Flame shall take their torment, despair, their affliction, every sin, every curse, melt it all away. Yet Midra, like others before him, was too weak to become a lord. Continuously deals fire damage and inflicts madness buildup. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Each projectile does 30 madness buildup, and it's not the most effective incantation, but it's summoning the Frenzied Flame, which I like that.
I'd rather have the sword.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally always go for the weapons.
Yeah, it's just they're cooler. But you have everything now, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
What do you give the man that has everything? High life.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite areas in the game.
It's not one of my favorites, but I do appreciate the change of scenery and the change to gameplay. Having a a difficult enemy that you have to actually fucking parry to beat or sneak around. It takes everything that the game has already built and all the functions and formulas that you've used to cheese your way up to this point, if you're me, have gone out the window, and you have to change your play style to accommodate a new area. And scenery, beautiful, unlike anything else you've seen in the game. Plus, I can't stress enough how like you get to this area after going through an awesomely long dungeon. So it's just a nonstop thrill ride of Elden Ring.
It's mostly like a big solid A to B from the Shadowkeep when you go down that ladder all the way to the end of Midra's Manse. There is the only like real side stuff you can do is like the Village of Flies and Rakshasa.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is the path and this is where you're going. And it's very specific storytelling in a game that's all about making decisions and exploration and choosing where you go. This is a funnel in a very good way.
I found this place completely by accident looking for the Jagged Peak. I was trying to figure out how to get... I'd kind of found everything in my area, but I could see off in the distance or portions of the map, and I'm like, how the fuck do I get there?
And only in this game is, I want to go southwest, or I want to go southeast. Well, you better go north.
Yep. And then it turns into like largely a dead end, but it's just an absolute, like a lot of lore and new enemies. It's, well, not a lot of new enemies, but a very memorable enemy.
This is one of the greatest pieces of side quest in the game. There's nothing, I don't know, it's a game where nothing is a side quest, but there's like kind of, the main thrust of the story, and this is a really cool little separate path.
Yeah, with the way that it plays out, it feels like something that's supposed to be incredibly like mandatory, that you need to be here because of everything that is required to get to this point. So to just end up with our sword boy from the trailer,
yeah,
was cool. It's a nice payoff for it.
This was probably my most hyped sequence from the trailer.
Oh, 1000%, yeah.
And the promo images of the manse and the bodies out front, and the guy pulling a barbed sword out of his head. Shit. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to get a tattoo of.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Very iconic imagery. Yeah, fantastic spot. And one of the best parts of the DLC, in my opinion. That's all I got to say about that.
I plan on getting a Elden Ring tattoo at some point, and maybe I do get Midra pulling the sword out of his head.
I'm getting my Elden Dogs hat in the mail soon.
Hell yeah.
They're available now.
I need one.
Yep. If you like our show, if you're listening to this, you should definitely take the time to leave us 5 stars or write a review. It'll help others find us, and this show takes a lot of work, and we like doing it, and we want more people to hear it. So if you have a chance, we would appreciate that. Also, another way to support us is to go to patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. We are part of the Dogcast network of shows, and you would get access to all of the Elden Dogs episodes way in advance, as well as 75 bonus episodes of Raw Dogs, the Dogcast, Popcorn Dogs, everything. So check that out. Special thanks to executive producers Rykard Kristinik, Malekith the Black Blade, Blackguard Big Brian Ward, Jordan Hoslow, Sorceress of Blood, Best Ring Fingerprint Phil Wright, Phil Just Red Bear Phil, thanks Tyler, Bell-Bearing Hunter Bryant Ross, Crucible Knight Kelly Gutowski, Justin Mellysmere the Impaler, and Imagine Ghost Flame Wagons. We appreciate all of you. Next Elden Dogs, we're going to Shadowview, and then Finger Ruins, and then Rau Ruins, and then Enir Limb.
And then boom.
And that's all of the locations. The next episode of Elden Dogs for Patreon listeners will be the Invaded by Square Table Gaming. I'm doing an interview with him this Wednesday. And otherwise, if you're on the main feed, you're way behind. You'll get that interview right away because I wouldn't hold off such a great time with Square Table. But otherwise, I started mapping out the bestiary episode, 70 enemies for Shadow of Tree.
Chump change compared to what we did last time.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we got for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Sir Ansbach.
I'm Lady Freya. I'm scared.
We're so scared. Pet your horses.